What's up, everyone? This is me, Dre. This just in. American dentist goes over to Africa, shoots a famed lion, and the whole world loses their fucking mind. Twitter explodes. People are calling for basically this man to go down in a blaze of glory. They wanted this man jailed. Meanwhile, back here in the United States, University of Cincinnati, former police campus officer Ray Tinsley, he pulls over a black motorist during a routine stop simply because the man didn't have a front driver's plate. During the course of the stop, the officer shoots this man, whose name is Sam Dubose, shoots him in the face, kills him instantly. The car takes off, eventually comes to a stop a few hundred feet away. And during the police paperwork, the officer lies and says that he was getting dragged. Even on the video, he was saying that he was dragged. So let's get this straight. This year alone, we've had Freddie Gray, we've had Eric Harris, we've had Walter Scott, and now we have Sam Dubose. The body count continues for black men, unarmed black men, dying at the hands of police. Oh, and let's not forget about Sandra Bland. Died in jail after getting arrested for not putting out a fucking cigarette. So the campaign for Black Lives Matters is not that we don't decry black on black crime, because we do. But when Tyrone kills Jamal, no one fucking cares. Tyrone goes to jail. It's one less nigger in the streets. That's how racists see it. But when Officer Bob kills Tyrone or Jamal, he gets a hero's parade in the town. Everyone thinks that he did the right thing. Any little excuse by Tyrone or Jamal that caused their demise, whether it's just saying or speaking back against the cop, any violence that they're met with is justification simply because they were on the other side of the law. What about Sam Dubose? Now, to his fault, yes, he started the vehicle when the officer tried to open his door. The moment he cranked the ignition, the officer immediately pulled out his service pistol instead of a taser, shot this man, basically executed him. So when people decide to huff and puff when they hear the slogan Black Lives Matter, it's because we're standing up against the violence that we're being met with from the police. It could happen to anyone. It happens to white people, it happens to Hispanics, it happens to Asians. But this year alone, not that white people are making the news when they're getting killed by the police, but how many white people are getting killed? That's the question. It's still half a year and another half to go. How many more black lives have to be extinguished before black lives becomes a matter to all lives? That's my question. And for me as a YouTuber, a black man, I'm met with a whole bunch of defensive people who come up and say, well, what about Detroit and Chicago? As if other cities that have a large population of black people don't have crimes. But crime happens everywhere amongst all ethnic backgrounds. So before people come and approach me, especially after seeing this video, and they want to debate about what black people are doing and shooting up each other, just ask yourself this question. Do you really give a shit? To you, it's urban pacification. One less black person means that you don't have to worry. Maybe you'll feel safer out in the streets if you decide to go through those neighborhoods, perhaps. So if we're killing each other, does it really matter to you? No one gives a shit. No one's crying about gun control. But let someone like Dylan Roof, Adam Lanza, Jerry Lee Loughner, James Holmes, let one of those individuals go into a public place, shoot up a whole bunch of people who are, well, maybe going to a grocery store, elementary school kids that are trying to get an education, or maybe just a family outing at a movie theater, and all of a sudden somebody goes in and shoots up the place. There's a cry for gun control then, but blacks killing each other in black neighborhoods is never a cry for gun control. It's almost like there's a desperate cry to the government to put more guns in the streets in those black neighborhoods so that we can continue killing each other. That's something that we do have to address. But when is it really going to be addressed? And when are people going to start looking at police brutality and say enough is enough? Because believe it or not, if it's happening to black people, sooner or later it's going to cross racial boundaries, and it's going to start affecting all other ethnicities. Does it happen? Yes. Is it catching media attention? Perhaps not. And it's not like the media is trying to say, well, because this person is black, because if they don't mention ethnicity, you can see for yourself. The cop is white, the victim is black. Does anyone put two and two together? It doesn't have to be specified that the death or the decedent was black. You see it right there in the video. But for this man, Dubose, to get shot in the head simply because he cranked his ignition, and then the cop lied and said that he was being dragged, which is a whole bunch of bullshit. He incriminated himself simply because he had a body cam. But enough is enough. When is America going to wake up and realize that the Black Lives Matters campaign is about black people standing up against police brutality? And if you really think that we don't give a shit about what's happening in our communities, whether it's black on black crime, then maybe you are part of the problem. Maybe you're not realizing that for those who have lost loved ones in those matters of black and black crime, they're having their candlelight vigils. They're speaking out against crime and violence in the community. Young lives being extinguished. But when black people have to fear from those who are sworn to protect and serve, that's a problem. And if you don't realize that, then maybe you're part of the problem too. Anyway, if you like this video, hope that you like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to check me out on Facebook. Peace.